Well, hello, everyone. I am your host tonight of Kingdom Scribes. This is a platform under the Beyond the Book Media and um, Right With Me platform, and we are excited tonight to have our guest tonight as Miss Amber Blakes is going to be with us. And so let me tell you a little bit about Kingdom Scribes because it is new. We're putting it out there for everybody, and we're excited. Hopefully, you all get to join in on the many conversations that will come across this platform. So, Kingdom Scribes, its featured author is an author showcase that will highlight one author in an interview style conversation about their book to our Facebook platform, YouTube platform, and Clubhouse. And the target audience for these interviews will be the Christian women entrepreneurs, and we will ask questions about their writing, their publishing process, as well as their new and upcoming book. Journals, devotional, and all of those things. Tonight, we have the pleasure of speaking with Miss Amber Blakes. And so we'll get into Miss Amber in a moment. But I did again want to say welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Crystal C. Davis, the host and a coach here with with the Beyond the Book Media family. If you want to make comments on Facebook, if you're watching us via Facebook, please go to StreamYard.com/Facebook so that we can see your comments on this side. We want to know that you are celebrating Miss Amber, and we want to allow her to answer any questions that you may have. Hello, beautiful. And we want to give you the opportunity to ask questions and for Amber to give you the opportunity, to answer the questions that you ask. We're going to give everybody, Amber, a couple of more minutes. Just give people time to come on in. The night is winding down. And so I'm excuse me, I'm anticipating a good crowd to come in tonight to hear your story about your journey in writing. I'm excited to hear it myself. We have a few questions, and we'll just chat because that's what we do. I'll take a sip of water. And why would that start when I get on camera, right? There we go. All right, so welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me place in the chat. Amber, I am excited. I remember the journey. It's been a journey. I remember the process, and to see it come to fruition. The thing that you spoke of is really, really a blessing. You Facebook user. They're saying hello, Amber. If you could go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, then she'll be able to see exactly who you are, so that we won't label you Facebook user. So again, tonight, welcome, welcome, welcome to everybody that's joining, that's watching us live via YouTube, via Facebook, or whatever the platform is. We want to say welcome and thank you so much for taking the time out to come and listen to indie author. And I think she's probably gonna be more than that. But anyway, this author, this beautiful soul, this beautiful being, Miss Amber Blakes. Again, this is a new platform called Kingdom Scribes. And what it is a platform where we feature a showcase an author that will highlight their an interview style. We just talk about and engage about their new writings and what they have in the future, what the process was for writing, and the process was for publishing, and all of those things. And so we invite you to join in on the conversation. It's Johanna. Hi, Johanna. How are you? And so we're just excited that you are here, Johanna, and everyone else. Amber, one more minute and then we'll go right into these conversations. I'll do a little brief overview or a brief bio. I will a little snippet about who you are. Just from a personal perspective, and then we'll go into and allow you to expound on who you are, the many facets of Amber Blakes. Okay. Yes, we're gonna give them about one more minute. Hey, Nikisa. Hey, Facebook user. Everybody's saying hello, Amber. I'm so excited. This is a beautiful thing. This is a beautiful thing. And I see we have a guest speaker also with us tonight. Hey, I'm excited. So, Amber, we're going to go right on ahead. It's like 5 minutes after. We wanted to give people time to join in on the conversation. We have people here and we don't want to hold them long. So, we'll go right on ahead and get started. So, to those watching in this Kingdom Scribes platform, Amber is, let me just tell you from a personal perspective, I've only known Amber a short time, but in her presence, there is light, there is glory. She is a humble being, very intelligent being. I just enjoy talking to her, engaging her in the mind. I was a part of the process of the writing when she went through the Beyond the Book Media. I think she went through one of the challenges, and so it's been a process. But she's now here, and I want to say to each of you, even before we get started, you can too. So if you have a book in you that you haven't written, go ahead and listen in, learn about her journey, and then take the journey with the Beyond the Book Media family. We would love to have you. So enough about us. I'll go right into Miss Amber Blakes because tonight is really and truly about her. So Miss Amber Blakes, come when you get a moment, come off of mute and tell us about yourself. Tell your listening audience who you are.
Good evening, everybody. Hi, Crystal. Thank you for the warm welcome and beautiful introduction. I receive it all. My name is Amber Blakes. I am a daughter of the Most High King and of my mother and father. I am a wife, a mother. By profession, I'm an educator, and life has provided me a pivot that has now allowed me to be an author. And I am here to speak about my journey, my author journey that was helped along the way. I consider Beyond the Book Media a destiny helper in my life. So I just want to take a minute to personally say hello to Hey Johanna. Hi, Nikisa. Thank you all for being here tonight. I do believe that this journey to becoming an author with Beyond the Book Media is going to already has opened, and is going to continue to open many more doors for many more roles for me to fulfill. And that is exciting. And that can be a little scary walking that out. But because of the writing coaches and Prophetess Chanel's vision and the support that they provided for me, Nikisa is one of those beautiful people. I am able to walk this journey with a little more confidence, a lot of backup and support. So I appreciate you all. Thank you for the opportunity to speak here tonight.
Oh wow, we enjoy you, Amber. Like I said before, you are such a light, and so it has been a journey, but a wonderful journey. We've gone through some things together in the writing process, and we're so glad that Beyond the Book Media was able to assist you. And then let me say, because she's here, shout out to our visionary Chanel E. Martin, serial entrepreneur, and so many other things, just like you, mother, daughter of the Most High King, prophetess, so many things. So hello, Chanel. Hello, 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 Nikisa, who is that I call her the doula. She's the one that truly pushes us all and births so many things out. She has a strong anointing on her life, and so we're excited that we were able to be a part of that journey. So the name of the journal is it journaling for the generations, journaling for the generations. Okay, let's talk about that. Tell us about the book and the journal and what the book is about and who it was for.
There I go. Okay, so this is a visual of the book. I have it here. This is my personal copy. It's called A Journal for the Generations. This book is an heirloom piece. It's meant to be more than just a book. It's meant to be adopted into families and passed on. It is a purposed book. The purpose of this book is to pass your wisdom on to the following generations. The wisdom that you've gained from your past experiences to equip your generation. And who she'll be with me just for a few more minutes until my husband gets home, to equip your future generations, so that because of what you pass on to them, they can break vicious cycles off of their lives that have been passed along through families. So really the desire that I have, my heart's cry for this book is for families who have been going through this success struggle, success pattern, to break that pattern and for that to be removed from families.
I love that, Amber. That's powerful, because oftentimes we speak of leaving a legacy, and what better legacy to do to leave than have it all written in a book about your journey, so that when those that come after us, when they do meet those forks in the road, if you will, they can look back and say, "My Aunt Amber did this, and this is what she said worked best for her." Or even your children, "My mother did this." I equate this, and not to minimalize it, but I kind of equate it to like the cookbooks that our grandparents left behind with their favorite recipes. And now you're talking about strongholds and things on the bloodline. And I'm going to tell you how you can walk through those and come out of agreement with those and chart a new path. And so that is very, 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 that's rare. I haven't heard of anyone else doing that. I'm quite sure somebody might have, but the way is being presented here, I just salute you for that, because I think a lot of people are lost in generations now simply because nobody told the story. And so you're telling the story of your struggles, how you got through those things, what it looks like, how they too can go through that. And something that we spoke about, and I think Nikisa was the one that said it in Beyond the Book Media. It may have been Chanel too, but our book would transcend our lifetime. People after us, when we transition on back to glory, people will be able to read our story and to journal where you are in life. It doesn't leave an opportunity to have a facade or anything. It's just what it is, right? Oh, that is so good, Amber. That is so, 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 so good. So what inspired you to write the book?
I will try to make this short because I can get long-winded with this answer, because it's a good one. It's one that was revealed to me as I continued to write. So it was a eye-opening experience for me, because a lot of people who do pen their own books have an inspiration and they carry that inspiration out. For me, the inspiration was revealed as I kept going. So when I was younger, I was privileged to be able to read a journal entry that my grandfather um, left behind for us. And since he was able to do that for my family, I was able to benefit from the wisdom he passed on to us. And I took that desire and it nurtured it and it magnified when I had my first child. I was muted there. I thought to myself, I would love to give that gift to my son the way it was given to me by my grandfather.
Wow.
And so but I kind of tucked that in my heart. It was something that I didn't put into action. I was very busy, a working mom. It was a dream that was sleeping in me until I had my second child and was in a situation where I was able to transition and um, have more time and become a stay at home mom. And during that time, I really struggled with that transition, but that dream in my heart started to awaken. And about a month after I made that big life decision, I found Kingdom Business Network. I was introduced to Prophetess Chanel Martin and the 21-day Write Your Book Boot Camp Challenge. And I knew I was supposed to be there. So that became additional inspiration for me. So I went into that challenge really new to the process, really unsure and uncertain, but just with a dream in my heart and with faith. And I was just really blessed by the community and the writing coaches there and the training that we got. And I was given a question in one of those trainings as I was describing my book to one of the coaches. And I was talking to her about how I desired to write this book to pass on to my family. And she said, I love that idea, but let me challenge you. I need a book like that for my family. So how can you take this dream in your heart and this desire to pass on wisdom to your future generations and create something that everybody can do that with? And so I was able to then rewrite my first draft into something that was a gift that I could pass on to others, a template that I could replicate for everybody to do this with, and really impact generations to come. So the inspiration began with a family member doing this once upon a time, to all the way God divinely connecting me with a desire to do it for my children, and then the community I needed to create something for other people to do it for their children.
And right there, I would say when he says, I know the plans, he meant he really know the plans, right? And so because we try to figure things out and the plan is already written, and all it was, like you said, was you brought a dream to the table. You allowed your dream and faith to join, and oh, you send the baby away, and you allowed your dream and faith to join, and then God led you to Chanel E. Martin in a platform where you could that dream could come to fruition, and where the seed that had been planted by your grandfather could be cultivated, watered, nurtured, and then brought to the forefront. Because like you said, somebody else said, well, why not just like, don't be selfish, don't just do it for you, let's do it for everybody. And that's how you reach the masses, because everything we go through, somebody else needs it, right? And so I thank you for sharing that. uh, so let me go here. Tell us a little bit about your writing process. Do you use a unique method? What did the beginning stage entail? Tell us just about that journey. What was that like for you, Amber?
This is a great question, because my writing journey, when I connected with Beyond the Book Media and when I went on the journey to write a journal for the generations, didn't look like any writing journey I had been on previously. Not any writing that I had learned in school, um, not any writing that I had done previously in my a blog that I had created, because this was really, although I had been doing it previously, this was the first time that I was given language and an understanding that I was writing with God. And so when I purposed to write what he wanted me to write, or how he kind of converged with my heart's desire to write, it didn't look the way I thought it would. And I had to release the control. And so that was a huge eye opener for me. And one that I'm not so sure I could have done on my own, or that I would have even continued on my own. But the outline that was provided through the boot camp was really helpful. I was able to use that as a starting place, and then after that, sort of make edits and revisions that fit the vision of the book that God had given me. But one thing that I will add here that's related but unrelated, the writing process that I went through to create the structure for this journal, it's a 15 section topical journal. It's not just where you're writing, you know, unorganized. It actually has 15 sections of life topics and rites of passage, and um, like you said, forks in the road that God gave me to organize the wisdom under. But during this time, I was battling postpartum depression. And I was really seeking healing for that at a deeper level. It was the second time I had been going through this. The first time I went through it, I needed medication, I needed therapy, I needed community. And this time around, God had me to still do some things medically and that I needed to do, and spiritually, and to deal with my mental health. But this time, the process required me to write my way out of it, to break that depression. And back to the first question you talked about, the inspiration. One thing that I neglected to leave out is I began my writing journey with my blog about 2 years previous to this book. And I wrote about my journey with postpartum depression in my blog. And my mother read my blog post about my battle with postpartum depression and suicidal thoughts. And she came to me and she said, "Hey, Amber, I read your blog, and I want to let you know that I experienced the same thing with you and your sister. And we suspect my mother experienced the same thing too." And so at that moment, I had a light bulb go off, And the thought was, I wish I had known that before the battle, not after. And so that God moment that happened because I wrote my story down, that conversation may have never happened between my mother and I if I had not written that story down. And that's how I knew I had to create a tool for me to write down what the things that I wanted my daughter to know and I wanted my son to know, and for them, so that they would have the wisdom they needed on the front side of the battle. So my process for writing was one that was many layers. It was one where I was having to unravel what I knew about writing. And you see, I'm an educator by profession. I taught people how to write before I wrote this book. And what I was writing didn't look like anything that I had taught anyone to do or that I had created previously, because God shifted what it is He wanted me to do for who needed to read it. Not for what I wanted to write, but for who needed to read it. The second thing is all while I was writing, the inspiration for the book kept coming. There just wasn't one moment of inspiration. There was inspiration that kept coming as I kept going. And the third thing was that the story of my family, that the stories from my family were being revealed to me as I was writing, as confirmation along the way to keep going, because He was showing me that by me having the conversations and me writing about my stories and me giving people tools to write their stories was unraveling and uncovering and exposing things in my family before the book was even published. So that the writing process was so healing. It was challenging and it was rewarding all at the same time.
Okay, Amber. I like a good shout, but we won't do that on camera, okay? But I love what you said. You said that you're writing it down, and your mom then saying, "Hey, I experienced that same thing, and maybe possibly my mother before me, and you said it helped with. You wanted to help people on the front side of the battle. How many times do we look back and say, if I had only known that before, right? We say that, like, if I had just known that before, I would have made a different choice. If I had known that before, I probably would have just said no and let that go past. But it's because, in our culture, sometimes nobody wants to tell the story. It's so taboo. Don't say that. Don't talk about that. But I appreciate God even allowed me to be a part of Beyond the Book Media, because He stretched me and allowed me to see some things, even meet people such as yourself and others that have come through the program, where you just saw His full hand upon people. And it's under the guidance of Chanel E. Martin, who is a powerful prophetess in her own right. But she, Nakisa, Jacinta, and all of those before, they just push you to purpose. It's not, they let you have your pity parties. Let me say, they give you like 2 minutes and then they're like, okay, now we're back to purpose, And so I had to write that down. So when you see me looking down, please don't, I'm listening. I'm just taking my own notes for later on when I have my quiet time, because that is something that I think this journal will help, as you say, the generations. If we just write our story down, it will help so many of our young folks. If you're saying they're just not listening, well, write it down and give them the book of their history for Christmas, right? And then let them read it and then say, ask me any questions you may have, and tell it all. What I love about it is that God He takes the nakedness, He makes it all, I'm gonna show it all. And there are beautiful parts of it, and there's moments of, a sigh, there's moments of crying, and I'm quite sure you probably experienced some of those. And so feel free to share those moments that you shared, those hiccups that came up. You have that moment, but then in the end, there were so many more hallelujahs, because there were so many more breakthroughs, so many more things that took place in that moment. And I don't know if you said this, maybe I missed it in my writing, but then you were able to honor your grandfather in such a way where I now carry the torch that you gave me, that has lit a path so far for me. And so I am just that just blessed me. And I don't, I want to get on my soapbox because I get excited when people share something so profound, because if we learn something beforehand, it lessens the probability that we'll have to deal with it again. And our children the same, if we go ahead and tell the story now. So for those of you that have not written your book, you're in the right place. Kingdom Scribes is where you are. It's a new platform, but the platform still carries the same oil, the same glory as Beyond the Book Media's other platforms, because there's so many. Because Chanel is so gifted and God gives her so much because she can carry it, right? But this Kingdom Scribes community is for people such as Amber, who are I call them indie authors, but new authors. And it is a showcase that will highlight an author in an interview style conversation about their book. And we're going to do this to Clubhouse. You can watch us on YouTube and even here on Facebook. And the target audience for these interviews will be Christian women entrepreneurs, and we will ask questions about their writing process, their publishing process, as well as their new and or upcoming books. And so if you know somebody that has a book in them, if it's you, stay tuned to the end because I have some treats for you. So don't go away. So let's continue on, Amber, with the questions. You told us about your writing process and what the beginning stages entail. Let's see. What are three takeaways you would like your readers to walk away with when they go get your journal? What are the three things that you think are heavy that they can carry themselves? Not so heavy, rather, but they can carry it themselves. Give us three things, Amber.
Okay, yes, I can do this. The first thing that God revealed to me and that I would love to share with you all is that you can break vicious cycles off of your family with the power of your pen. That's a tagline he gave me, and it's really true. And one of the things that I've come across as I've written this book and then built community around it is I found that a lot of people say things like, "Oh, I'm not a good writer. I don't really like to write. I don't journal. Books aren't really my thing," or "I'll buy your book to support you, but I don't really do journals." And I hear that type of thing. And behind those words, I hear attacks from the enemy making people believe that reading and books and writing is not their thing. But really, it is. It's everybody's thing. As a matter of fact, it's a mandate and it's a requirement. It's an instruction from heaven. And because people don't pick up their pens and tell their stories or tell their stories verbally, people stay in bondage, families stay in bondage. This is why. And so I'm grateful for this tool and the conversations that will surround it, because I believe it will shift people's thinking to actually believe that what is between their ears and what's in their hearts needs to be given air. It needs to be put down so that somebody else can hear it. It is not just for them, and it can start within the four walls of your family. The second thing that I have realized is that our children and our grandchildren, they don't need to lose the progress of the previous generations. And I say this now, and because I'm reading off my notes, but the revelation I'm getting as I'm talking is we don't even have to lose the progress of previous generations, our parents and grandparents, and suffer their same struggles as a generation before them, if this wisdom is spoken on and carried down. So we talk a lot about breaking vicious cycles off of our families, but so many of us have generational blessings to stand on. Things that our family overcame, triumphs, victories, gifts, talents, and these are things that we need to celebrate and talk about and pass down and also not lose, as well as the life lessons that we've learned that will help people to prevent struggle. So the progress doesn't have to be lost, and the same struggles don't have to be dealt with if we open up these lines of communication. And the third thing I wanted to share is that this book, here, I'll hold it up so y'all can know what it looks like when you find it on Amazon. It's a tool that I've realized after its publishing that opens up unrealized pathways of communication um, that will benefit the readers right now. So, and the reason why I say that is because the way it's designed, and when you read the introduction of the book, is it's meant for you to scribe and then passed down to two more generations so that the wisdom goes through 3 and 4 generations. But what I'm realizing now that I have it in my hand and my grandmother is still living and my mother is still living, I can get 3 generations of wisdom right now today. I don't have to pass it on. It doesn't have to unlock keys years down the road. It's unlocking keys right now, because it's giving me the mindset to ask the questions that have never been asked, to listen in on conversations that I never thought I would have with parents and grandparents that are with me, aunts and uncles that are still with us. So originally, this vision for this book was to have something that people can hold and pass on. But I'm realizing that there's so many people that from the day they get it in their hand, they're going to be able to gather the data, the intel, the wisdom that they need from the generations that are still living.
Ooh, Amber, you gave me so much. I know you're saying, what is she doing? She is writing. Do you hear me? I am taking this all down. I love you said it'll give us generational blessings to stand on. Many a times we talk about the generational curses, but there are so many blessings. And for you to still have your mother and your grandmother is such a blessing for you. And you said it won't allow us to lose the progress of previous generations because there's so much to be celebrated there. They truly are overcomers. But the thing that blessed me the most, and just got down in my sha na na, is when you said we got to give it some air. And I thought about the breath of God. We came to life with his breath, air, the spirit of God, the air. You know, oh, that thing blessed me. Well, that blessed me, Amber. I'm gonna call you later, but yeah, that blessed me, Amber. That part right there. Give it some air. And what does air do? It carries things forward. It blows. When you say, Lord, put my name in the wind, your book, your name is in the wind. You know, somebody here, I think her name was Lori, and I'm trying to see some of these comments, Amber, because they blowing up this chat over here. They're saying hello and all of that, and they really loving the wisdom that you're sharing. But somebody says they had a book, but they haven't published it. And so I want to invite that person to push forward and come on over to Beyond the Book Media. Let me throw that out there. Shameless plug, but let me throw that out there and allow us to join with you, just as we joined with Amber, who said, I had a dream and faith. And if you have a dream, we have faith. And when you leave us, you'll have some too. But we do have faith here at Beyond the Book Media to cover you through the process and get you to that publishing. So I think it was Lori that said that. I'm not even sure who that was. And I can't see it in the comments because they were Facebook user, but I was trying to look on my device so I can see their name. But whomever that was, come on, you're in the right place. And something else I love, Amber, is that God is not this happenstance God just out here doing anything willy-nilly. He is so strategic enough to let you put something in the blog, your mother to see it, and then it sparks a conversation, much like your book, Journaling for the Generations. It will spark a conversation. Now you say, and I want to say to you, you just blessed me to still have your grandmother with whom you can speak, your mother with whom you can speak. My grandmother has since gone on to glory. My mother has dementia. She does not talk, so I don't get to go write those things. But what I do get to do, Amber, is start anew. I can write from here, right? I can start from this space. So whoever that is saying, I don't have my mother, my grandmother, my grandfather, my uncle, anyone else, start from now. You are the beginning of the vision. You are the beginning of the generational curse. You are the beginning of knowing the generational blessings that's upon you. You are the now. And I just wanted to say that. Oh my goodness, this is so good, Amber. Okay, we have a couple of more questions. I know you got to get to your babies. Um, in terms of publishing, you wrote it. We got that you know had this epiphany. God came and gave you something different. He brought to light about your grandfather and all of those things. But we're going to go to the publishing process now. So in terms of the publishing, what was that process like for you, and why did you choose Beyond the Book Media for publishing?
The first thought that comes to mind on answering that question is I had to decide to invest in myself, in my dream, and that the thing that God had put in me, that it was worth making the sacrifice for. That is something that was not an easy decision for me, and but it was a faith. It was a faith decision. So a lot of people get stuck at this point. They have a lot of things they've created, but they don't publish because there is something that has bound them into thinking that they're not worth the investment. And so I had to make that decision. But to go with Beyond the Book Media was an easy decision for me. The example that was being set in Kingdom Business Network was such an excellent one. But my experience in the book writing boot camp, which I know is a little bit different now, but at the time was so valuable. The community, the prayers, just the peaceful atmosphere in which we were able to write together, the training. For somebody who's new to this world of becoming an author, even if you're accomplished in your career, as I had been at that point, for the first time in a very long time, I felt new at something, like a novice at something, almost like I was out of college and fresh at my career again. And I was really trying to figure things out. And I felt a little lost until I connected with the writing coaches and my fellow writing mates. So that was an easy decision for me because it was an all-encompassing holistic approach. So we had time to write, we had coaches to help with the writing process, we had training to teach us the things we didn't know about the process, and then almost as like a bonus, the people that we were in community with together became almost like instant friends and family. As a matter of fact, I'm still in connection and in relationship with a lot of the other women that I wrote with to begin. And we have like you, Crystal, we have blessed each other with in ways beyond the book, like the name says. And going forward into publishing, I was really blessed because when things got tough, I was always getting an email from someone to check in on me. There was always a Zoom call, a family meeting coming up. There was a phone call for accountability that I had on the schedule. And if I did my part to take advantage of what was available to me through my publishing package, then there was really no reason for me not to continue. And, even with the support that I had, a lot of life happened. Um, and I know everybody understands that. I had a young baby, we had death in the family, we had repairs in our home, medical procedures. I mean, just you name it, weddings, funerals, everything. Things just came up, came up, came up. But I was always able to jump right back into my publishing cycle because somebody from the company was always checking on me. And, you know, and sometimes, but always with a lot of love, always attached to a lot of prayer. And in an organized way and in a systematic way to where I kind of always knew where I was in the process, or I could always reach out to find out where I was in the process. So even when life was chaotic, my publishing process never really was. I could just jump back in when I needed to, and the support was always there. So it was a beautiful experience for me. It's one that I would recommend to anybody else. It's not um, a process that I've seen replicated anywhere else. I feel like it's a very unique wraparound publishing process. It was good for me. It was a blessing.
Oh, I love that wraparound process. I love that. Let me tell you what my nuggets were from here. Decide to invest in yourself. So many times we feel like, as you said, we're not worthy of that particular thing. Oh, that costs too much. We don't have a lot of value. We don't carry a lot of think that we carry value. So sometimes it's like I don't want to do that, even though we feel that nudge, we feel that pull. And I love something else that you said. Life kept lifing. It didn't stop. It was still rolling. Life was still happening. Sickness, health, all those good things, death, life, all of that. But you kept going. And when you had to take those moments to breathe it through or just say, um, I can't do it right now. I need a moment to step away. When you came back, the circle was still there. Even when you left, the circle still encompassed you. And that's what I love about the Beyond the Book Media model, and how they nurture. And when you said community, you was talking about communication, how they make sure that they reach out to you and tell you where you are in the process, or you can call them or email them and say, hey, I don't know where I am, how much further do I have, whatever the conversation may be. And I was thinking of communication and community, and the way the Beyond the Book Media model is, it all begins with communion with God. And that's the root word of all of that. Just commune, just communing with God, being present, being authentic. Lord, I can't take it right now. I know this is your book, but we're gonna have to work on that after a while. And he gives us those moments, but somebody is still interceding on your behalf because they understand what you carry, even when we don't understand. And so I would say to those, we're going to have a Map Your Book Out challenge. And I'm going to talk to you about that soon and very soon. But if you have not signed up, it's been dropped in the chat. It's mapyourbookout.com. Go ahead and do that, because that's the beginning of the process. And then you come on to the next phase and the next phase and the next phase. But what I also love, Amber, is that although you've already published, nobody has left you. They still reach out to you. They still call you for events. They still want to make sure that you're successful, and so many other ways that we get to do that on the back end. And so it has truly been a wonderful process and a privilege to watch you go through the process. So my next question, what advice would you give to authors or even entrepreneurs wanting to start, or those in the process of writing their book?
Okay, well, the first thing I'm going to say is you need to connect to community. You need not to do this by yourself. You need to be with people who can pray you through when you can't pray yourself through. You need to be with people who can answer questions so that you don't have to spend hours on YouTube trying to find the right answer. You need to be with people who can write with you while they're also working on their own projects, and really kind of understand the warfare or the struggles or challenges you're going through, and be able to have conversations for venting or for encouragement along the way. You want to spend some time, lots of time fasting and praying. You're going to want to get clear so that you can really hear. I did find along the way that a lot of times I was writing what I wanted to write, but when I stopped to listen to God, I really I had to go back and change things because that's not what He told me to write. So you really need to keep your communion and your relationship with God intact. And the other thing I did, and this is a practical tip, is you need to create space and access for to write. One of the reasons why I struggled well, let me say that differently. One of the reasons I had struggles sometimes writing is because I had ideas about what it looked like to write a book. Like, I think I had ideas that I would be sitting at a very neat desk with my laptop ready and a cup of coffee, and that's not the season of life I'm in right now. And so what I had to do is I had to put my book on Google Docs, and I put my Google Docs app on my phone. And so it was available whether I had my tablet, my phone, or my laptop. My book was always with me. I could always access it and write into it wherever I was, whether I was traveling for a family event or whether I was sick in the bed with COVID, because that happened too. I had my book with me. And so a lot of my book was written from my phone in the daycare parking lot or in the middle of the night when I couldn't sleep. So I did things that gave me no excuses to get it done. And that was just one practical tip that really helped me. And then, I was able to take the finished product and then put it into a Word document to send on to the publishing company for editing and formatting. But I needed to put myself in a situation where I didn't give myself any excuses. I had access to my document anywhere I went.
I had to write that in the chat. Forgive me. I know you were done and you had wrapped up, but I'm going to go ahead and highlight that one right there. Give yourself no excuses. Oh, Amber, you are a wealth of information. It's something else that you can.
Okay.
Most
Okay. This is something else that came to mind after that. The other thing, and this is something I'm still learning, I'm right there with anyone who's new to this process, is while you're writing and you are in the publishing process, go ahead and start to educate yourself on the business side of becoming an author, because once you publish a book, you become a business. And that was something that I knew, but I sort of shied away from. I did not spend the necessary time and due diligence I needed to find out what it meant to be ready for vendor events, be ready to have books on hand because people wanted them autographed, have a website or a landing page, or some sort of media kit to offer when people wanted you to speak. These are things that came up as I just went through the process, and I was not as prepared as I should have been. I'm more prepared now, but I would suggest that anybody go ahead, once you make this leap, go ahead and do that work on your own to do that research, or connect with someone who can teach you that process. I know that Beyond the Book Media offers a lot of resources in that avenue. And the other thing is, go ahead and do the work that's necessary to heal yourself within, so that you don't hide when it's time to show up. That's something that I have had to do and I'm still having to do. For some reason, I thought I could write a book because God told me to, and then I could go back home and my life wouldn't change, and that's just not true. Your book is a it's an open door for opportunities for you, and you're going to be called upon because people need what you have. And you want to go ahead and do whatever is necessary, and that looks different for everyone, to be able to put your best foot forward, to be confident, to be self-assured, to get the therapy, to get the coach, to do the work at home or in your physical health, or whatever is required to be your best self. Because once you put a work of God out there through a company that's anointed like this, you're going to be called upon. Your face is going to be in the place. So get ready for it.
Woo, Miss Amber, I can't deal with you tonight. I tell you, I love it. I love it. I love it. Give yourself no excuses, is what I was saying earlier. And then you came back with the nugget: educate yourself on the business side of becoming an author, because we are the brand, right? Once we write the book and once we get to the publish in the end, we are the brand. We have to sell it. It doesn't just sell itself, right? You have to be able to tell your story. So you can't hide behind the book. You have to stand outside of the book and make the book known, right? You are the one that will be the marketing team for the book, right? Community is key. Do not do it alone. And when you said that, I wrote down no DIY. That's what's the issue for most of us. We've tried to do it ourselves when God has called you to a community such as Beyond the Book Media, because he understands that he's given Chanel a mandate and she has a team of people that she doesn't allow for excuses with. And so, when he creates a space for you, he already knows what you need. And so he created this space and this platform so that you can speak that into someone, and then create spaces and access to write when God speaks. Because what I found is he likes 3 o'clock in the morning for some reason. And I'm like, listen, we got a 3 o'clock yesterday, okay? Okay. And not only that, I used to fuss and say, Lord, you wait good till I get in my car and start wanting to just talk. I'm driving. So he was like, get a voice recorder, okay? So that's what you do. But he is not on our time schedule where he will allow you to make space and time and all of that with family. Because if you have family such as yourself, a husband and children, you need to say, hey, babe, I'm gonna need an hour here, that thing. But for the most part, he is unorthodox. He just wakes you up at 12, got you praying and fasting and writing in your journal. Then 3 o'clock, he wakes you up. And then, when you're riding and you singing your praise and worship songs or whatever you're doing, because sometimes it's not praise and worship, right? And so when you're singing your songs, you just get these downloads, and you need to be able to write that. So the Google Docs was a very good and strategic good tool to share with everyone else. Yes, and so let's go into this final question before I give out the nuggets for tonight. Ooh, let me do this right quick. Hold on, Miss Amber. Link. Amber, feel free to say hello to everybody if you would like.
Sure. Yeah. I see these comments are really giving me life over here. Hi, Tiffany. I
Creativity.
can't see everybody's names. I do see some people's names. Kamitra, you're right. Unity is power. I'm so glad this interview is blessing you all. I see somebody whose name isn't there on my end, but they say Cole Spencer. Maybe this is why we can't sleep. Okay, I'm gonna speak to that. Um, for those of us who are mothers who understand what those last few months are like before you have your baby, they're uncomfortable. And when I was getting this book out, when I was birthing it with the help of my destiny helpers, my doulas, my Jacinta and Nakisa and Destiny and you, Crystal, and Chanel, Prophetess Chanel, when it was getting close, when I was in the place where the book was being formatted, when I was in the place where I was pick colors and graphics for the book cover, I started getting uncomfortable. Like I had to get it out. Like I could physically feel the pressure. So when I see somebody talking about not being able to sleep, this might be why I would lean into that. I would press into that for sure. I'm so glad these tips have helped you guys do what you need to do to get healed. Writing this book was also a very big healing push for me. I did need to go to therapy for a while. I did, and will continue that process as long as I need it. I did need to do a lot of prayer. I needed to do a lot of inner healing and deliverance. I needed to have a lot of uncomfortable conversations. I needed to face myself and really rewire a lot of my thinking about my own self worth, my own self esteem, and my self image. I had wonderful people and communities along the way that I learned from, staying connected to, really healthy relationships, all of those things. I see another so person, Anastasia, you said she has a question, if I have already completed the journals, do I need to do the first part? I would really suggest that you reach out to the contact information for Beyond the Book Media. I know Crystal can share that because every question I've had, they've answered with such grace. Yes, San Denise, I find myself going back and rewriting what God says versus my thoughts. Yes. But I love that you've already started the process of writing your thoughts so that God has something to course correct. He can't write with you if you're not writing. Wonderful. These comments are so good. So, so good. Okay, Krista, are you ready to jump back in?
I couldn't even get off mute. Okay. You say he can't write with you if you're not willing to write. Amber. Ooh. Okay, let me go back to these questions. So, where can people find your book and support the many things that you are doing? I'm going to put your link tree and the Amazon link in the chat. Is there anywhere else? Do you have a website, anything like that coming soon? Where can we follow you, find you on social media? Tell us about that.
Okay, right now the link tree is the best place to find me. That's where you can see everywhere I am as far as personal and the community that's been built around this book. This book, A Journaling for the Generations, does have an online community and movement attached to it called Journaling for the Generations. It is on Facebook, Clubhouse, Instagram, and we have a Telegram chat. There are some really wonderful things happening there. I'd love for you to find us on those platforms, Journaling for the Generations. God has me doing some teachings in there about how to help people journal more deeply with God, increase their kingdom literacy, um, really break off educational traumas that are causing people to feel like reading and writing is not their thing. And then they're missing things that God is giving to them because they're not reading and writing. Things that are stuck in their journals that they need to be sharing with others. We have a platform for people to share. Those people who aren't journaling and things are stuck in their head, God is sending me to extract those things out of them and get them to start writing some of those things down. So I'm excited about what's happening in Journaling for the Generations. Join us on that platform. I also have a blog called Everything with Amber. It's at everythingwithamber.blog. It's on WordPress. And I have a lot of posts there that are around faith, family, and having fun on purpose. So that is my lifestyle brand blog. all of this is going to come together into wonderful things in the future. God is speaking the vision to me, but that's what I have right now. And I'm excited to have your support in any of those places. So, yeah, that's where you can find me.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love it. Everything with Amber. Um, I love that you have your own niche. You're going to help increase kingdom literacy and take away that the notion that I'm not a writer, I don't write well. Those things that have been planted, those seeds that were planted. I had to get overcome those myself, and even during this publishing process, I have still had to get past some hiccups. So that is a beautiful thing, and I'll be sure to follow you on those platforms as well. So, my final question for you tonight, and for those of you that want to purchase um, journaling for the generations, please, by all means, we have dropped her links, her link tree, and Amazon links inside of the chat. Please do go follow her on the. Did you say journaling for the generations on social media platforms, and be a part of the conversation. As you are all saying now, she's dropping some wonderful gems, and I'm sure there's more to come. So please follow Amber Blake's. You will know her name, okay? And so the last question for you, Amber, is what is next for you and your brand, and what can we look forward to in the coming months or years from the Amber Blake's journaling for the generations platform?
Thank you for asking. Well, I'm currently writing another book right now that I am almost finished with the manuscript for. It is a prayer guide for praying your children through the school year. I'm very excited about that coming out. I feel like that is a strong need right now for many parents who are nervous about what's involved in a new school year starting and everything connected to that. I'm looking forward to the Everything with Amber and Journaling for the Generation platforms expanding and growing and influencing and impacting more people to increase their kingdom literacy, to up their faith, strengthen their family, and have fun on purpose because God said so. um, there's a lot more books in me, and God has given me visions for an instructional platform in the future. So I'm excited to see how those will develop and who he'll have me to collaborate with. This is one of the first collaborations that he's introduced to me in this new journey since I transitioned from becoming an educator to an author and beyond. Um, Collaboration is really important. And one of the things that I'm looking forward to is because of the pandemic and because of having a baby in the last 2 years, a lot of the work I've done has been digital, it's been virtual, but God is really pushing me to have more face to face interaction, vendor opportunities, speaking opportunities, and eventually a book launch party because I think authors do that. And so I'm looking forward to at the end of this year having a face to face event to celebrate what God has done in this area in my life. So just connect with me. I'm learning as I go. I would love to have you learn with me.
Oh, Amber, we have truly been blessed by this conversation. Thank you for chatting with us in Kingdom Scribes. Thank you so much for being authentic. You can't be anything other than, I know that part, but thank you so much for allowing your voice in this space, for blessing us with knowledge and understanding of the process of writing, of publishing, of being stuck, of being untangled, of going through life with life just life, and as we said, and all of the other facets and multitudes of who you are in life itself, but still completing the assignment given. And so that has blessed me. I should say that. And so we want to say thank you from Chanel, Prophetess Chanel E. Martin, Nikisa Jacinta, Destiny, myself. We want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And I want to say, if you are in the process, maybe you've written your manuscript and you want to publish, but you've been stuck. If you want to experience the same thing that Amber has talked about and share, join Beyond the Book Media. Come on in. We're getting ready to have a Map Your Book Out challenge. If you don't know, you should get to know, right? It is a powerful time where we share who we are and all of those good things. And we have speakers and so many different things that go on with the Map Your Book Challenge, Map Your Book Out Challenge. It'll be a little different than in previous years, but it's still going to be good, right? And that will be August the 2nd through the 4th. and let me place the link in the chat so that you can go ahead and register. You must register to attend. It is FREE, so don't clam up on me now. It is free. It is so you come and you enjoy conversation. You get to meet our visionary, Chanel E. Martin, and learn about her and her journey. She has a story all her own. You get to learn about the company and, the many hats that she wears and about the team. And so, again, that's going to be August the 2nd. Through the 4th, which begins next week. So we're going into a new year. You're going to go into the 8th month, the month of new. The number 8 means new. So you're going to step into the new on this new journey with Beyond the Book Media, Kingdom Scribes, and Map Your Book Out, okay? All right, so it's a 3-day writing challenge to map out your book. Register at mapyourbookout.com, and that has been placed in the chat. Tiffany says, Map Your Book Out challenges are amazing. Can I not say again to you all that it is free? So no need to clam up and clutch your pearls. Just come on and have a good time with the Beyond the Book Media family. Also, this Thursday, what is today? 26th, 28th, the 28th. This Thursday at 8 o'clock. Join us on our Facebook channel, Beyond the Book Media Facebook channel, and we're going to be doing Meet the Family. So those individuals that Amber spoke about, Chanel E. Martin, Akisa, Jacinta, Destiny, and myself, we're going to all introduce ourselves and tell you a little bit more about us, our role with Beyond the Book Media, and a little tidbit about what we do outside and in addition to Beyond the Book Media, and how joining with the team and the intercessors and the things that God has called us to do, to be, can help you in your journey of writing your manuscript and or publishing your manuscript. And that is going to be good. You don't want to miss that. So that begins this Thursday, and then the challenge begins shortly thereafter. We want you to know the family, so when you join, you'll know who we are, right? And then I want you to do me another favor. Tag somebody on this post. Go ahead and share it on your social media platform. If it blessed you in any way, go ahead and share all that Amber gave us tonight. Hello, Diva Nicole. How are you? And I want to invite you to join us on Clubhouse on Friday. On the K will be there for the Kingdom Scribes, and she will be there discussing some more things, adding a little bit more, sharing, elaborating a little more. You may hear a few questions that may sound the same, but she's going to give you a little bit extra. And by that time, God will have poured some more nuggets in. So go ahead and join on at 12. If somebody missed it, tell them to join us there on Friday, the 29th. Tell them to join us there at 12 o'clock on Clubhouse, KBN. So much going on there. You can start at 8 o'clock with prophetic planning daily, and then you can just come on back at 12 o'clock for Miss Amber Blakes again. Amber, thank you so much from my heart, from Chanel. We thank you from the entire Beyond the Book Media team. It was a pleasure to work with you, and we know that you're going to do great, 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 great things. There's just a calling and a blessing on your life, and we are so blessed to have been a part of the journey. So thank you for allowing us, and I will speak for me specifically, for allowing me to be a part of that journey. Any final thoughts before we close out?
You're welcome, and thank you to Prophetess Chanel for your obedience. I would not be where I am if it wasn't for your yes. Crystal, you have blessed me so much and made this such a good experience for me tonight. And I just want to encourage everybody out there that if you think you're supposed to write, you are. God has really just given me such strong revelation about his mandate and instructions and requirements in the earth for us to take what we have and give it to who needs it. And for most of us, that means we need to get this going, or we need to get our fingers on the keyboard. You're supposed to be here. You're not here by accident. So go ahead and act on something that you've heard here tonight.
And no, that's not the teacher in her. That's just the gift that she carries and the oil that she carries. I really appreciate you, Amber. Go and enjoy, baby girl. Tell her everyone said hello, by the way, and your son as well. And have a blessed night. We thank you again. Good evening, everybody. Thank you all for joining. Join us Friday at 12 on Clubhouse Kingdom Business Network. And Miss Amber will be there. Tell somebody and tell somebody and tell somebody. Have a good evening.